Well, how embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. Just realized that the mic was off. But anyway, welcome back to one of my streams. This is John Bartman. My name is John Bartman. I'm a Cape Town, South African musician, and I've been making these easy to use music templates and tracks since 2019. So if you're into making music, go check out what's on offer. There's some free stuff at the link in the YouTube description. Today I'm working on a jazz-inspired track. It's kind of a very old-fashioned style for a game that I've been commissioned to score. Can't tell you much about it yet, but it's a 2D point-and-click game set in the 1930s, and actually, funnily enough, set partly in South Africa, which is a very weird place to set a game, and I'm super happy to be involved. So yeah, what we're listening to now is just the backing, which I'm going to try and bring to life. It's a fast jazz sounding bass line that I wrote a while ago. It just needs a bit of work. And we've also got a guitar track that I will now play. Cool. And that's it. It really only has to be a couple of seconds long. It's a recurring piece that plays again and again while the user or the game player tries to solve puzzles. It's a puzzle game. So bear with me today as I whip out my piano and get going on how to bring this to life. I'm going to focus on the bass because it's actually going to be I think the biggest challenge of this track is figuring out the harmony, figuring out where we're going. Also, I haven't been using Reaper in a while. That's the name of this program, if you're not aware. Reaper's a super flexible program, and I love Ableton too. Ableton's great and popular and great for dance music. Reaper's terrible for dance music. Or terrible for playing, put it that way, but it's excellent for producing. So we don't have any live ambitions with this piece, so I'm going to use Reaper. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is just give it a listen through and get rid of any of these bass slaps that you might hear. Why is that soloed out? See, that's in the wrong place. This is where the manual side of it comes in. In fact, all I'm going to do is just take everything down a little bit. It's also sounding a bit static, so actually first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we can maybe just get a different sounding bass in here. Let's create a channel and stick an instrument on it. I'm going to see what we've got in Contact 5. Sorry, Contacts. Oops, I've just loaded up Complete Control. This might cause a crash. No, don't build the root configuration. Sorry about that. Okay, and we want to make this a contact track. So what we got over here is my library browser for Contact. Contact is like the de facto industry standard sampler, so you get all these different sounding libraries, all of which are pretty amazing. And what I'm looking for now is something like a double bass guitar. Sorry, a double bass instrument. There are some in this double bass string ensemble section, but they're quite orchestra focused. They're not really down for there's not a lot of that pizzicato sound that you need for a jazz sound. So I might actually be on the best one that I have already. Let's just double it up. Let's see how it sounds if I double it up with the palm muted Rickenbacker bass, so that I've got the jazz sounding tonality, but the Rickenbacker is very well recorded. And what I want is, this to pop. It's got to sound like pop music, because, you know, if these games are being played on phones with mono speakers, you've got to consider making everything far more obvious than you think it should be to your ear. No one is listening to this on a hi-fi system for audio files. This is about background sound, and it's about communicating clear musical themes, as far as I know. So let's see what happens if we simply route the Rickenbacker bass to, and let's just take off library view so we don't have to see it. Cool. No, don't want to do that. Trying to get that out the way. Cool. What I'm trying to do now is I'm going to route the baseline to. Is it like that? No, it's like this. No. Sorry, I'm a bit out of touch here. A bit out of practice. What I want to do is send this. Oh yeah, use that. There we go, yeah. So that goes to base, but it's the other way around. What we actually want is this to be base palm. Base palm, not face palm, and then we route it to there. That's what we're after, yeah. And master. So let's give that a listen first, solo this out. Oh no, hang on, I made a mistake. This is supposed to go to here. There we go, yeah. To contact, correct. Let's try again. There we go. So now you can hear the pop of the subtle, because I mean, you might not be listening to this on a big speaker system, but there's a pop in this bass sound which I like. It might even sound better than the original bass. And the cool thing about this is that I've got more control over the ending, I think. Let's take a listen and see if there's any sound presets. Here we go. Oh no, what I'm hearing is not actually what I think I'm hearing. Okay, let's try something else. I'm going to shift this entire bass line down so that it's on the correct channel. There, that's what I'm after. Cool. Yo, I'm rusty. Hey, had a kid a year ago, and so I haven't been doing a lot of music, of course, as you can see. Okay, now what I'm trying to do now is make sure that these both sound at the same time. There we go. That's what I'm after. Good. So here we go. It's good. Now you can hear them both. That's just Rickenbacker, and that's just contact. Cool. No, I'm wrong. They're the same exact sound. Let's hear it again. So just like project setup stuff, is quite normal to get stuck in the weeds like this. It's important to take your time to get things right though, you know? Okay. I'm just going to do this the basic way until I figure out what's going on. Okay, let's take all of this down a level. Okay, now we've got it so low that we can't actually hear. That's it, yeah, it's too low, okay. Okay, what if we took the second bass? I don't know why it's showing like little squares instead of the notes as I wanted them. There we go, cool. Cool. And we've got more contact, we've got more Rickenbacker than top end bass, upright bass. Doesn't sound right. Okay, so then I'm going to change it so that we go back down. Cool. Okay, let's see what kind of presets we get here. We're looking for something like vintage. There's usually like some kind of vintage setting. And that's the bridge preset. It's not really bridge pure DI, so that's when you just want literally the straight in, no kind of color to it. Flame. That would be cool if we could edit some of the settings, like the release time and all of that. Not sure if we're able to do that. This is where it gets interesting, because you got like scripting options. You can actually run like your own hacks of the sound. Here we go, modulation. Wonder if it's on. Definitely not. I can hear that it's not. Okay, cool. So we have to figure that out at some point to get that right. Anyway, but for now we've got this nice-ish sounding. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. Okay, and then we go to this sort of legato sounding bass, which I don't like at all. So I'm going to hide the plugins and see if we can sort this out. Okay, we also got some harmony changes that are wrong in the side there. And it looks like I might have lost my mouse function. Have we got... yeah, we got... batteries. You can count on it to happen, of course, during a stream. That's when you most want these types of things to come for you. There we go. Good mouse. So actually just leave a couple of batteries around here. Okay, kids. So let's hide that view and go fullish screen with this. I think it's this one here. Yeah. Okay. We don't want that style. Want that? Thank you. And I can hide that, right. So before I do any actual sound tweaking, what we got to figure out is how to, well, firstly just fix this end harmony part. That was definitely a rush job. It's a bit... Ding, 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 ding. Are we in D flat? Yeah. Din 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 din. Okay. And a short ending. Punchy, stick it. Okay, the bass is dragging a bit, but that's not unusual for the sound. I also explicitly got instruction not to make the sound too MIDI, so it has to have a degree of live instrumentation, which is cool by me. I just got to figure out where to employ that, because that obviously costs, to get other artists in to play trumpet and all that. Got to figure out where the moments are that need that kind of thing, and then just try and like book a studio and smash it all in one go, That's the idea, at least. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. sounds nice to me. What do you think? Leave me a comment, let me know. I've got sounds like a where it starts to get, so this should actually be just half those notes here from here. Half the time. Ding, 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 ding. And then it's just, let's practice or audition it, should I say, tune. So how does it sound if I just loop it? Yeah. I must make sure there's no pop, of course, but looks like we might have some stream dropout issues, but anyway. Cool. So yeah, I'm currently doing a live stream in streaming okay, now let's see if we can make this, see if we can get some keyboard in there. We're in the key of A major and we don't actually currently have a piano in here, so I'll come back to sound tweaking later. Let's get something down with the actual composition. So I'm going to shift this all forward a bit. It's just it's rushing ahead of the bass a little bit. That's nicer. Okay, right. Quite a nice intro. Let's not kill it. So I'm gonna just not do that, split that there, and just take this section here, fade in a little bit. That's nice, much nicer. Cool. Okay, so as you hear, all we got in this track so far is just bass and guitar. I'm going to call this bass palm. Every time I say that I hear the word face palm, bass palm. Now I wonder if I can't like take this up an octave here. Sounds a bit unnatural. Maybe we should just tweak it so that it's not so, the tone's a lot lower. It's basically supposed to be a higher version of that. Maybe higher and reverbier. Let's take it to a tight. That's quite nice. Compressor off. And hear it again. Okay, cool. Now I think we can do better with the actual contact instrument, so I'm saving this. The name of this track, by the way, is Anna. Anna is the character who this is a leitmotif for. So leitmotif just being a musical theme that is attached to a character. So I'm writing the leitmotif for Anna, who's an adventurous young girl, a British girl, and she's on her way across the world on a mystery adventure. And she's obviously quite capable young lady. On the road so far. This preset that I'm listening to now is the best one that I've heard so far. Definitely not. And this is where it becomes useful to like use your ears instead of your eyes. So I'm listening. That's nice and obvious. Okay, good. Now the guitar is standing out way too much for my liking, so we need to... Let's age this a little bit, or shall we? So I'm going to open up an EQ. Re-EQ is good. Actually, now EQ I use for... I use it kind of for surgical stuff, so when there's a problem, then I use EQ. Otherwise, I use multiband compression, which is what I've got here. And I want to kill all of those highs, because we've got a vintage recording. Vintage recordings generally have not a lot of bass, actually, but because this is a modern game, we have to make it sound a little bit... What I'm trying to do now is just... Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to squash any bass sound. Let's just turn all of these off. Turn off one. Let's take number 2 down. It's just like a gentle sort of guitar, because mid-range, at least, that's the word I'm looking for, not so much. That's it, almost like that. That sounds a little bit more like it. Now I'm just killing everything though. So these vintage recordings, I'm still in the composition process here. So I don't want to mess too much with sound, production stuff. So I think of it in 2 stages, like the actual composition stage, which should kind of be locked down before you start doing what I'm doing now. But the idea is just to get into the vibe too, and try and get things sounding a little bit vintage, so that you can be inspired to work, like there. Now there is also the other option here is to get the guitar effects sounding good. But I'm reluctant to go into the reverb side of things now, because I don't want to get too deep into it. Let's turn that on, see how it sounds. Now that's just literally completely wet. No. That might sound nice, yeah. So now we've got a very wet sound. Here it is dry. Take a listen to the difference. So what I like about this is that it